evening, everybody. Welcome to our May 14th regular meeting. First of all, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Métis. Under approval of agenda, we do have an item under other business. It'd be not number one. It'll be a discussion on pickleball.
Okay.
Has anybody got anything else? Hearing none, is there any disclosures of interest? Hearing no disclosures of interest. We have no delegations tonight. And do we have any questions? Nothing in the audience, no email questions?
No.
Okay. Minutes of previous meetings, resolution 118-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau, that the minutes of the council and committee of the whole meeting held April 23rd, 2024 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 119-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the minutes of the special council meeting held April 30th, 2024 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Committee of the whole recommendations. Resolution 120-24. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, second by Councilor McGrath. The council approved the expenditure request and approval to proceed from the Ontario Clean Water Agency for Schreiber wastewater facility electrical repairs in the amount of $14,430.80, including applicable taxes. Discussion? All those in favor? Says you. There. Resolution 121-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor Bergeau. The council approved the expenses associated with Schreiber Earth Day public meeting in the amount of $254.43 plus applicable taxes. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 122-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, second by Councilor Morrow. The council declared the steel pole located at the old fire hall as surplus asset to be disposed of, and that a local resident be approved to take possession of the pole. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 123 24, moved by Councilor Bergeau, second by Councilor McGrath. The council accept the quotation from Simcoe in the amount of $13,483.62 plus applicable taxes to inspect, investigate existing piping of the suction line, and in the amount of $18,304.33 plus applicable taxes to replace the piping of the suction line if necessary. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 124-24, moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Councilor Bergeau. The council purchased a silver sponsorship package in support of the Superior Classic Car Club Terrace Bay Drag Fest in the amount of $1,000 excluding applicable taxes. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 125-24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Bryson, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support resolution CR 60-2024 of the Township of Terrace Bay with respect to energy transition. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 126-24. Moved by Councilor Morrow, second by Councilor McGrath. The council approved the attendance of A. Bergeau and K. Mullins at the AMO 2024 annual general meeting and conference to be held August 18th to 21st, 2024 in Ottawa, and that expenses be paid as per township policy. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. It goes on to accounts for payment. Resolution 127-24. Moved by Councilor Bergeau, second by Councilor Morrow, that the bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of March 2024 in the amount of $47,613.07 be approved and ratified. Discussion?
Well,
Yes.
further to Grant Thornton's presentation to council, where they talked about that it was a report to council, not through the financial statements, that council approves or reviews all the expenses. We actually do, because we go over these two financial reports. I'm wondering how much work it is, if you can investigate how much work it is to break down the Bank of Montreal MasterCard statement into just a list of expenses that we can look at.
Yeah, for sure.
Hearing no more, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 128 -24. Moved by Councilor McGrath, seconded by Councilor Morrow. That checks issued on the general bank account in the month of April 2024 in the amount of $254,505.88 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 129-24. Moved by Councilor Bryson, second by Councilor McGrath, that bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of April 2024 in the amount of $59,430.87 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. And no unfinished business, and there's no other business, so we'll move on to the committee of the whole meeting. Number one, CAO monthly report.
I'm not sure if, you guys are, this is something you would like to see as an ongoing basis. I just thought I felt it was good for me to report as to what's taken place or what's happening. So as you can see in the report, we've made a couple of changes to some of the programs that we're using in the office, which Rosalie had started with the CGIS, which will replace the PSD citywide GIS system and the maintenance manager component that is not being utilized at all, as well as the cemetery program. So with the CGIS, it's really good for the CBO as well, who can use it remotely with his login, see the building permits and go ahead and approve them right online. And yeah, and I just want to say, and just, reinforce that in the short time I've been here, I think we have a super good staff, and council's very lucky to have everybody that they have in place.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like your report on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to end up saving money with this new CGIS,
Yes, we are.
so just because it's the last thing I think. Are those numbers been worked into the 2024 budget?
The numbers that we're saving. Yes,
Excellent.
yes.
Let's see.
Yes, it's about 2,779.29 yearly full save.
Yeah, I mean, hey, every little bit, right?
That's right.
Okay. Hearing no more. Number two, grant and aids application report.
So I must apologize. I did not realize, I had misunderstood what Rosalie was saying. I thought that when the deadline was, that then it had to come back to council. I did not realize that it actually doesn't come back till next month. So I do apologize for that, but I had only received one submission by the deadline. However, in a discussion with Councillor Bergeau, there may be some other, groups that may want to utilize the system. It's up to council if we would like to extend it or just continue on with what we've done.
So, what we talked about, when we had originally talked about changing grants and aid, we had talked about using an opportunity to advertise them. So letters were sent out to people who normally apply, but we never actually did advertise the program.
No.
There was never anything that went out and said, so if you want to find anything about grants and aid, you got to go to our website, and it's a bit of a turn to find it. So because decisions are not due to be made in June, until June. I'm wondering what you guys think about actually advertising this opportunity, because the one application that we did get actually is 2 grant needs, not 1. And then we also have an item into communications that could be grant need.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the not-for-profit organizations understand that asking for hall rental for either a cut or a free hall rental wouldn't be considered a grant need, because I think it is. And we've talked to our CAO and to our Director of Operations about physically moving money from grant aid to hall rental to cover some of that stuff so it can be tracked. So it concerned me that we only had 1, and the one that we did get is actually 2, not 1. And I don't know what you guys think about any of this, so I just thought I would mention this and see what you guys thought.
No, I'm okay if you want to put it out there, say.
Or what Rhonda thinks.
Say extend it for a year.
For sure.
You know, if you've got something you want to add to it, Rhonda, that's fine.
No, I think it's a great idea, and, you know, it could have been just the transition between myself and Rosalie where it fell through the crack, but I think it's a great opportunity to re-advertise for sure.
Who was sent letters? Just ones who had gotten a grant aid before?
I think so.
I'm sorry,
Who was sent like the letters saying this is how we're doing it?
past applicants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the high school, North Shore Harbor Street.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we've got a communication item that she'd be
Yeah,
a perfect,
100%,
she'd be perfect to go for a grant name.
I don't see the harm in advertising.
So do we need to understand, you know, what would qualify as grant aid? Is that, I don't know if that was ever really clear. I mean, it was just, maybe that's.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
that was
we can
something, I
definitely-
thought that was something we were gonna clean up this year, was what would qualify as grant.
Maybe we're gonna have a committee. A subcommittee. of-
Yeah,
A subcommittee, yeah.
Go over applicants.
Yeah.
And present it.
I don't know Rhonda, if you think that would be even doable this year, but maybe for next year.
Maybe for next year, yeah. Because it's a very short window now. and we'll-
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's what we did talk about.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a note on this next year. Specifically, we've used it for people, groups asking us for donations, but groups also asking us for, hall rentals or room rentals. Like 124 has happened a couple of times, but mostly it's the hall, right? And that, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, that was the following the discussion that when Tammy built that report for us, that said, this is how many hall rentals we have, and this is how many is paid and unpaid, that was a way for some of the, grant and aids to actually then, I know it's not real money, it's just moving the money over, but just showing that grant and aids being used up. Mayor, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I'm good with it.
Okay,
If we can clean it up, like Dan says,
Yeah.
see you there.
yeah, you get it advertised. Yeah.
And the only other thing I had mentioned to Rhonda was, and maybe this is next year, just to make the application itself Adobe fillable. It's a little thing, but
It'll be easier. So when are
You can just like a Google
Send it
form,
online
it
too.
would be easier.
a Google.
Oh, I said, fine.
Those are so easy. to
What
make.
was the deadline?
So the deadline was the 15th, I believe. Was it April? Of April, yeah.
Procedures, yeah.
15th or 14th.
Yeah,
So extend it to the 15th of June.
yeah. Do that in the brains of last name.
Yeah,
Okay.
the deadline was April the 30th.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. And you had to make sure you had the financial information. To Dave's point, the grant review committee would meet and discuss applications in May, and then council would review recommendations and make decisions in June. So we still have some time to play with this, just my thought. Not much, but.
Yeah.
$750 for June.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you got everything there you need? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 3, the CEO report, managed state services.
So, Rosalie had, I'm not sure if it was, it's hard to speak for someone else. I'm not sure if it was an insurance company she had spoken to, or if it was just through, someone she knew about the, cybersecurity.
Well, because it's been noted the last 2 or 3 years, Rhonda, on our recommendation from our accountants.
From the
Grant,
auditors.
yeah, from the auditors, yeah.
So, she did reach out to a company called, Cloud Metric. And I was part of a couple of the meetings. So in the end, what we did was we had asked Cloud Metric to put a proposal together to present to council for the services that they felt were necessary for the insurance to cover us. At the same time, we had said to Cloud Metric that we did not want to push Northern Computers out, that they were our current IT people, they were local, and we were happy with them. Could they work together? After the meeting was done, I did talk to Brian, and I'm not gonna try Brian's last name, and Paul, regarding whether, I don't know how to say it, sorry. Doig? Doig, okay. Sorry,
I thought maybe it was like Bordeaux or something.
yeah. Okay, anyways, you're not nice.
I know. It's true.
I did ask them if they would take a look at the proposal, if there was something that they could offer and come up with another quote for council as well. There's quite a price difference. Now, the firm Cloud Metric is from Kingston. They're much larger. So I'm almost certain that that probably plays a big effect on their quote compared to what Northern has offered us. In my mind, if Northern can guarantee us that we will be cyber secure, we don't have to worry about ransomware or any attacks, then my recommendation would be to stick to Northern Computer.
I definitely like Northern Computers price better. I also definitely like dealing locally. The only thing I guess I have for you, Rhonda, is I know that the quote from Northern Computers provides us with firewall.
Mhm.
Cloud Metrics seem to think that we need a new server and new ports.
Mhm.
Can you talk about any conversations you've had with Northern Computers regarding those two things?
So yes, so also too in Northern Computers quote, you'll see that they do have a server in there. What they suggested was rather than council purchasing a server, is that we lease one, and then that way there would be warranty and it could constantly be updated by the company. It's something that we wouldn't have to worry about if it broke down and they would totally manage it. So the server would sit on site here and no one could access it without a VPN off premise. So for council who accesses their iPads, they would definitely get a VPN to get into the server from home. But they're offering the exact same thing.
And the only other question I had is the Microsoft Office 365 Defender Windows.
Mhm.
I don't even know if we actually use that for this, but the licenses for those we already have.
Correct.
So the extra fee, even that Cloud was charging us was ridiculous. We already had them, so that's
Yes.
fine. So the amount that's quoted, the $1,260 monthly, is going to include everything.
Mhm.
The upfront cost.
Mhm.
I guess my last question before anybody else does, is any of this in the 2024 budget?
So we did put a line in there for the cybersecurity because Rosalie had anticipated that this was going to be coming. I don't think she quite anticipated how high the quote actually was coming back. So it definitely wasn't for that dollar value.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking at capital. 75. That's 560. And then the monthly fee. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely like, I like dealing local. And I know from working for prior organizations, we always dealt local. And I also know that the auditors, this was an auditor suggestion. Marlene, do you have anything that you want to bring to us? What's the cybersecurity thoughts?
No, I don't have a lot to do with the insurance. I know it was brought up on the insurance.
Yeah, but the auditors as well talked about we didn't have cybersecurity.
Right, but if I recall correctly, because most of our data is housed off-site, like our financial system is housed off-site and they have the precautions. It is to be able to protect whatever we have on an internal basis.
Right?
Right. And the importance of being able to procure the insurance through our company, because right now I don't think we qualify because we don't have
Cybersecurity.
the cybersecurity firewall. So it's sort of,
And did you want to talk about the insurance side of it, Tammy?
Well, we did talk to the insurance. We were nowhere close to having what we need in place to qualify for even applying for insurance. They wouldn't even look at it. So with a firewall and the cybersecurity that they're proposing, we could possibly qualify for it for next year.
Okay. And that's gonna definitely be a benefit to us, right? If
Absolutely.
we ever had a breach, we'd be covered.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah. And once we get this in place, we might even be able to tag it onto this year's policy. Once we get it all in place.
Yes for insurance. Versus yes. For security. Thanks for doing the research on it. Those are good numbers. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions.
No, I'm good.
So we're going to follow Ron's recommendation.
Yeah, I would say we go with
With Nor
recommendation,
Okay.
guys.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, treasurer report, 2024 tax ratio sensitivity analysis.
okay, so the purpose of the report is to provide council with background information regarding 2024 tax policy decisions. The recommendation before council is that the 2024 tax ratio bylaw be drafted using 2023 adopted ratios, and that no tax rate discounts be applied to commercial or industrial subclasses. So each year, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation releases the assessment roll in December of 23, which is used for taxation purposes in the current year, 2024. In order to determine what a levy increase is for the 2024 year, the revenue limit, which is basically your starting taxation limit, is calculated based on 2023 return roll with all in-year changes factored in as though they would have been affected as of January 1, 2023. That's what on an annual basis is. For the 2024 taxation year, our revenue limit is $2,280,583. That means that any taxation revenue levied over this amount is considered a levy increase. There was a slight increase, $4,637 more than what was levied in 2023 due to changes in assessment, which considered growth, the net impact of growth versus it's not growth. Don't know what the
But was it changing, wasn't that changing a property class?
It can, you could have on the assessment roll, you could have had, like, for instance, commercial vacant land where somebody built something on it, so that would give you, that doesn't change your, well, it does change your class. Because it goes from
Yes.
vacant land to commercial taxable, so
Right.
that is an increase in your assessed value. So that's what that minor, it's very minor, it's 0.2%. for 2024. And the residential class supports 72.19% of the taxation levied, with 83.33% of the overall assessment for the 2024 year.
So I need you to talk to me about that line again. So what does that actually mean? Because here we're saying residential class supports 72%
Dollar, so
dollars.
that is the dollars,
Okay,
dollars, taxation dollars.
taxation dollars
We tax
come in from the residents.
residential class.
So the other 27% comes in from the other
It
classes.
could be commercial, it could be payment in lieu, it could be, industrial,
Okay.
multi-res.
The difference for us is that 72% is over 600 and some residences, where the 27 is over a very smaller amount of businesses.
Accounts,
Accounts.
Yeah. Properties probably is the
So-
term.
So that's taxation dollars levied with 83.33% of overall assessment. So
So there's something like 44 million in assessment in total on the assessment roll. 83% of that is your residential class.
assessment rolls.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mike.
So there's a table in there, included that gives you the, your starting rate, the 2023 actual ratios, the 2024 starting ratios, which are the same. It gives you the range of fairness for your ratios and, a threshold should your ratio be subject to levy restriction, which the township of Schreiber is no longer, has not been in a levy restriction since 2009. At that point in time, council did manually reduce the commercial ratio down to 1.98, where it remains to date.
From 2009, we did that?
Yeah, in 2009, up until that point, we were in a levy restriction position.
So for the last 15 years, we haven't changed that class for commercial.
The ratio.
The ratio, haven't changed the ratio. No ratio change. Okay.
So if we, there is an attachment number 1, which gives what changes to ratios would do with or without a levy increase. For 2024, the average current value assessment for a single detached residential property is just under 54,000 in assessment. The 2024 average current value assessment for waterfront residential property is 134,197, and the average commercial current value assessment for commercial occupied is 93,694.
Marlene, that's never gonna change unless we can get impact back through here, right? Should we assess, do a
Well-
reassessment?
Okay, so reassessment, we still, in the 2024 provincial spring budget, it was again reiterated out of the province that they had previously announced a system level review of property assessment, because right now we are still, all current value assessments are still based on the January 1st, 2016 value.
Right.
Because during the pandemic, that 4-year cycle was paused. And it continues to be paused as the province continues to do a system level review. So they have committed to pausing the province-wide reassessment. So it's very unlikely that it's gonna happen in 25.
However,
Very, very unlikely.
it can change by our building permits. So anytime there's a building permit and demolition permit or a change in variance or anything like that, we report it monthly to Statistics Canada and to MPAC. And that changes the assessment value
Okay.
for that particular property.
Gotcha,
Because-
okay.
Because that may or may not be considered growth or negative growth.
Right.
So the growth is negative growth.
Right,
But reassessment, market change doesn't necessarily give you overall more taxation. You have to take something and put something there, do a change to a property in order to get more
Okay.
taxation revenue.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so we're good with the recommendation then?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Okay,
Thanks for explaining that one.
the excluded expenses in the 2024 budget, Marlene. Number 5, treasury report.
Okay, so annually, the purpose of the report is to provide council with information on what's required under Ontario Regulation 28409, which is to report on whether amortization expenses, post-employment benefits, and solid waste landfill closure and post-closure expenses are included in the annual budget. A recommendation before council is, it's recommended that council receive a report regarding the exclusion of amortization, post-employment benefits, and solid waste landfill closure and post-closure expenses from the 2024 budget as required under Ontario Regulation 28409. So this is a requirement that came in for the 2011 and subsequent years that a report had to be presented to council outlining what the cost would be should these things be included in your annual budget. So for the 2024 budget, it does not include the expenses for amortization of tangible capital assets in the estimated sum of $696,261. These calculations are based on the 2022 estimated numbers, as 2023 financial statements have not been, the audited financial statements have not been provided. So to include the amortization of the tangible capital assets in the 2024 budget, council would have to pass a levy increase of approximately 30.52% to cover these expenses.
That being said, though, Mark, these three items, while not included in our budget, are on our financial statements.
That's right.
Right? Or it's not something that we use to calculate a budget, or that we ask one to say, can you bury $700,000, right? It's just, those numbers are actually included in our financials, but they're not numbers we take into account for budgeting.
For financial statement.
For financial, okay.
Yes, that's correct. So the 2024 budget does not include expenses for future post-employment benefit expenses. However, it does include $12,500 in benefit package premium payments for those employees that are entitled to the benefit. The total cost of post-employment benefits for future years has been estimated at $87,346. To include this expense in the 2024 budget, council would have to pass a levy increase of approximately 3.82% to cover these costs. This number does continue to decline over the years as there are less and less
Like every year it drops.
entitlement, right? As employees retire, right? Or leave the employee. The 2024 budget does not include expenses for landfill closure and post-closure costs, as the township of Schreiber does not own a landfill site. As of December the 31st, 2023, an amount of $218,085 has been provided in a reserve to fund future landfill site operations and or development and emergencies for the township of Schreiber. Number 4 is a culmination. So if council were to include the amortization expenses, post-employment benefits, and the solid waste closure and post-closure expenses, the estimated change in the accumulated surplus of the municipality would be a decrease in the accumulated surplus of approximately $783,607. And would like to also say that it is recognized that there is a funding gap between the funds that will be available for infrastructure replacement based on current funding of reserves and other capital funding and future funds that will be required. Again, as has been discussed, on other occasions, council may consider developing a dedicated contribution to a capital asset replacement program in future years to ensure that the township's tangible capital assets are being replaced in a timely manner without large fluctuations in the tax rate or the issuance of debt.
So this is something we should be working on now,
Well,
like just the
we were
planning.
talking, we were talking about it this afternoon, Marlene and I, and we've been lucky, not lucky, that we've had a couple of years of surplus that have actually, we've been able to put into reserve, right? But I think what she's talking about is sitting down and manually planning
Yeah, exactly.
X amount of dollars that needs to go into infrastructure to take care of assets as they move. The other thing is, Marlene, do you want to talk to them? Remember, we talked about this, ARO, the new, your assets, what kind of obligations you're going to have on retirement. That report has to be done for 2023 for our accountants. That combined with the asset management plan update that's due for 2025. These are things that I think you're going to want to take into consideration, would you not, Mark, to round up that number and really start dedicating planning time and planning money.
I think both of those reports that you are referring to are in the 2024 capital budget. We're required to do it. If we do not do the asset retirement obligation piece, we will not get 2023 clean financial statements. It is it's a requirement that we have no choice. We have to do that. We have to undertake that process. And what that is identifying, for example, buildings that may or may not have asbestos in them. And it's to identify what it is and how much you think it would cost to remediate it should you have to. So with the number that's going to end up in in the notes for the financial statements, I think it's under contingent liabilities, but don't quote me on that one. So that there is more awareness out there to say, hey, these are the assets that you have. If you had to replace it for whatever reason, it's going to be far more significant than if you were replacing a building that was newer that didn't have those liabilities associated with them. The asset management plan, the next deadline that is required, which has to do with condition assessments, is the July 1st, 2025. We have to have an updated asset management plan that includes that requirement. So that is something that will have to be taking place, at least started in 25, if not finished by, started in 24, finished by spring of 2025. Too many years going on. I would like to say, when we go through our water and sewer budgets in the fall, it is identified how much council is transferring to reserve in those operating budgets. And although they are not necessarily as much as what's recommended in your current asset management plan or the
or in this
KPMG most recent study that was done, there is some transfer to reserve that is included in your annual budgets. But we do need to recognize that we need to be doing more. And you need that information, right? Because if we're going to be a utopia, you may get your asset management plan building conditions where it may extend the life of your buildings, right? We may say that, we're close to 50% of the life of this building or this road or whatever. And it comes back and it says, oh, you know what? No, you actually have another 20 years estimated on that asset. So it's not a bad thing. Right?
Maybe it's something, Rhonda, that your team could work on even towards the end of 2024. So as we start to budget for 2025 and looking at to Dan's point, don't you think, Dan? We need to do some more planning.
Yeah.
How to move stuff around.
Sure.
We can agree with the recommendation for sure.
Director of Operations report. And the status update.
Okay, so we've been doing some work continues with on the recycling program. Circular Material has now taken the lead on promotion and education. They've created a website specifically for Schreiber residents. They've given us a portal with promotional material to help us build our website to direct people over to Circular Material. So that's been proceeding. We have, because this is new, I have made a pamphlet trying to educate the public, and it was just one step further from our Earth Day. So that has gone out to in the mail to all of our residents. So hopefully that'll be a good resource for them. And then the other thing that has happened is, if you recall, the standard number for our convenience depot was 25% is automatically slated for the non-eligible source material. And we would share that 25% with Terrace Bay. We have negotiated that down to 10.8% that will be shared between the two communities. So that's a big win.
Silly question. Thunder Bay is getting free carts from Circular Materials, are we?
When full legislation comes into play in 2026, we will get likely blue boxes, likely more frequent pickups, and likely new streams that we can recycle.
Okay.
But for now, their mandate is status quo until full legislation comes into play. Aqua, we have automation now that is still waiting on parts, but they are definitely preparing for their arrival to begin work down at the sewage plant. They've asked for locates already, so things are starting to move down there in that regard. The Simcoe has completed the install for the chiller and the brine pump. We have had TSA come in. They have done their inspection of the plant. And so we are just looking to commission the system now closer to the fall. So Simcoe will come back and complete that work. We did replace the suction line for the ammonia. It was very pitted and pretty clear that it would not last the life of the new chiller.
So that was at 18,304.
Correct.
But Tammy, you just told me that's coming out of.
That was part of our contingency for the grant. And I think we were over budget in that grant by 10,000 if memory serves me.
Okay. Right.
Then onto the splash pad. We have turned on the washroom water at the splash pad, so they're now open. Actually, correction, sorry, those are automatic taps, motion sensor taps. They were not properly winterized last year, so we have a little bit of repairs to do before we can open up the washrooms. I haven't completed that research yet. So we are ready to open up the washrooms very soon. I just have to replace a couple parts there. Then I'm proposing to turn on the water to the splash pad itself on June 17th, if that suits council. It'll give the weather a little bit opportunity to warm up. We're still open before schools let out for summer vacation. So looking for your direction on that topic.
I like that face.
Can we do it earlier? Being a teacher, those last 2 weeks of June are usually a write-off in terms of being able to leave. So, I mean, yeah, school's done on the 26th. So could we possibly open it on the 10th of June instead of the 17th? Give the schools an extra 5 days to maybe plan a little field trip to the splash pad? Maybe.
Maybe not.
I'm good with it. I'm looking for your, I mean, we shouldn't be freezing anymore at that
No,
point.
yeah, I mean, obviously,
We are.
obviously if it's cold.
So yeah, June tenth is fine with me if it's suitable to you, council.
No, I'm good with it. The only thing that we haven't talked about is are we gonna run the same hours?
Oh,
We haven't talked about that, because if we go through what we did last year with the warm weather.
So allow me to do a report for you at your next council meeting for discussion. I will gather information, do some research, come up with some stats for you.
Yeah.
Because I do have a bunch of information on that, so we can have a
It
discussion.
wouldn't be drastic, like, it wouldn't be drastic.
oh, 24 hours a day, man.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and then, so after we're done with spring cleanup, the intent is to get the pavilion tent put up at the splash pad area. We do have a couple other high priority items that we might have to take care of, but we definitely are aiming to have the memorial benches installed by the end of May, and that pavilion tent put up by the end of May is the goal.
No, sounds good.
That's good.
Okay, number 7, don't run too far. Extra night roofing.
So, my apologies for the presentation of this report.
Numbers, it's good.
I'm not clear on the process yet. Nathan always did the bylaw write-up to go with these contracts. Clearly, I should have had a report accompany that. So just finding out who's doing what with our new CEO. But the purpose of the report was to get a bylaw authorizing us to enter into a contract with Dykstra Roofing. This money is carryover from the 2023 budget. So that's to fix the water treatment plant ceiling, preventing it from caving in, and for repairing the leaks on this roof at the municipal complex.
Oh, so it's for, okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Completely. It's for both.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yeah, there's-
Discuss that.
That's right.
Okay, so Alberta Street is here.
Yep. And 700 Perry is the water treatment plant.
So, I got you, okay. So both of these amounts were in the 2023 budget?
Yes.
So they're, okay, so it's 15,642 for here
Mhm.
and 30,538 for the water, and these were both in 2023.
Correct.
So more, I mean, how's that going to look financially?
So because let me pull up because nothing was done, so the water treatment plant roof was budgeted to be funded in 2023, through taxation. We will get on the May 28th meeting, a recommendation to transfer that money into infrastructure. Because it is budgeted in your 2024 budget to come from infrastructure.
Okay, that's my question.
And the other one was the municipal complex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one,
I'm looking at these and I'm thinking of this capital budget. I'm thinking, okay, wait a second. So that's gonna be kind of in and out.
it will end up being in and out. The municipal
Okay.
complex roof repair in 2023 was already budgeted to come out of infrastructure, so that it wasn't done. There will be no transfer at the end of 23. It will just come out of infrastructure in 2024.
So the only real in and out entry is going to be for the water treatment.
Right.
Okay. We'll have to move this to. Thanks. Okay. Sorry.
This company knows what they're doing.
This is a, this is a very reputable company, actually. They've, there was a bunch of really good reviews as well when I called for references and such. Rosalie also has experience with this company and, also agrees that they're reputable. Definitely knowledgeable when I was asking them questions and stuff, so I feel confident.
Okay, good, okay.
So then what can we can expect to see a bylaw for the contract?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks for that. Finance and special projects administrator report.
Kim's not here, so I'll speak to it. We had realized that we were eligible for a grant through Inclusive Communities Fund for the 2024-25 year. In the grant, under this program, a grant of $60,000 is provided at 100% coverage. With that money, we were proposing with council's approval that when Tammy had spoke at previous meetings that some of the doors, bathroom doors at the arena did not have the wheelchair accessibility actuators, that this would be the perfect solution. So we're proposing 6 wheelchair accessible door operators installed for $40,000 and a ramp at the Discovery Center from the parking lot where the new white fence is, the chain link fence, up across the grass onto the boardwalk so that a wheelchair could easily go from the parking area onto the boardwalk without getting stuck in the grass. Kim just needs council's permission to go ahead and submit the application.
This is a great use of grant funds. It is, it's a perfect use.
That's 100%.
Right. It's a really long wrap.
Yeah, you do because the grade is mandated already. My question is, we're gonna probably not hear until August whether we're approved or not. Just because I'm like that, if we don't get approved, would we still go ahead with these projects, Rhonda? Or would they be put on hold?
They'd be put on hold. They were not
So it's-
budgeted items.
They're not budgeted, so we're hopeful that we can to increase accessibility. I think it's a perfect use of the grant. I think it's awesome.
Were they budgeted, Marlene? I don't. They
Well,
were.
I will freely admit that I did not read this report until just right now, and I'm thinking, you know what? But I mean,
I think the
it would have
ramp
been
was
a
included.
conversation.
The ramp was
The
budgeted?
ramp, both
Okay.
the community hall, public washrooms is in there, as is the walkway and ramp at the tourist information center, and both of those projects are budgeted out of taxation, so that's 22,000, which is almost a percentage point right there.
Oh, awesome.
As long as you put them on hold, right?
Very good.
So they're on hold. You're telling me that like, you know, that's gonna happen.
I like your thought.
Yeah, I guess he's looking at me going, "Hey, she's looking for this stuff now." Okay. I'm just gonna,
I mean, yeah, like if we didn't get this funding, the ramp at the Discovery Center, can we not just say like, can we not put a handicap parking sign at beside the ramp that exists? Like, that's where you should park if you have a handicap sticker, correct? To avoid someone parking over there.
It was more intended for when we had events in the backyard for the barbecues and stuff to get the seniors with their walkers up on the step and sort, but it's not just a matter of slapping a wheelchair parking sign there. We'll have to amend our parking bylaw
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff, but definitely we can
If-
direct wheelchairs to park in the front.
Yeah,
but if we got this grant, we
And
would
it
get a
doesn't-
nice fancy ramp.
yeah, then it doesn't.
You would get the same material that the deck is built out of. It would be much longer. I budgeted 10,000 because
That's-
it would be a shorter ramp and just to get people up on the deck,
Right,
but still meet our criteria.
the AODA guidelines, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, move on to number 9 then. We're good with her putting in,
Yeah.
building permits and demolition permits. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We had one in April. And that's it, right?
Yep, good with that. Number 10, Schreiber Senior Center Committee meeting minutes on April 22nd.
Any questions? I covered all this last meeting, like
did.
I gave an update on all this, all the things, the numbers, and the
Yeah.
only thing that I can't update on is our town cleanup went well today. We had a good turnout with 2 schools, all the students came out. I would say probably had 100 to 100 students out, plus beautification committee members
Nice.
and others, so we had our few hot dogs and so it went well. And then people were dropping by, thought it was a regular barbecue.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, what was going on, yeah. It's all good.
I've seen a few people walking around town with bags and all
Yeah.
that. So credit to everybody that
That took part, yeah.
was involved today. Every little bit helps.
For sure.
I mean, perfect day. Birds are still getting into the garbage and stuff like that, so.
Last night it was bears at the Chocolate.
No,
Valley.
you're
It was a bear.
right. I seen a few bags dragged.
Yeah.
It wasn't the birds that did that.
So your barbecues are starting this month?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11 then. Library board meeting, March 21st.
Yeah, these are from March. We've had a meeting since then in April. I wasn't at this March meeting, but it was a pretty straightforward meeting. I gave them a written update on where we were with the strategic plan, and at the time we hadn't hired Rhonda yet, so they've all been built in on how that's all going. Linda's part of our strategic plan, so they're not doing their strategic plan until we're farther in the process with our strategic.
It's a really good, it's a really good working relationship that way, right? When you can work together with that, well, that's awesome.
I think Linda's just very happy to be involved in our process,
Yeah.
where I feel like in the past, I don't know, for some reason, the library feels like they've been knocked out of Vegas Square. I don't see that as being a thing.
I've seen her at a couple of meetings and she's always said to me, she's like just thrilled to be happy.
Yeah,
happy
doing
to
a
be
great
part.
job.
Yeah,
They did at the April meeting, they brought up wanting to do a delegation by the board just to give an update on what's going on. And I suggested the fall when things kind of are settled a little bit. And there is a new CIO and
Yeah.
several new boards on. So,
well, did you get a chance to attend any of their meetings?
Not the library yet.
No,
Next.
they're a good group.
Next Thursday
They're a good group. You'll like them.
at 3 in the afternoon. Okay.
No, 3:30. Sorry, 3:30.
Okay.
Yeah. I raced from work.
Right. And that's at the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, number 12, Schreiber Fire Department, March, April, activity report. See fire chiefs here, so anybody got any questions, remarks? We got our compliance results too.
Did you have anything you want to tell us, Jim?
Only comment I would have is, once again, like last year, it looks like our fires are going up and it looks like our call volume again this year is on track to beat 100 again. Not much on course to where we guessed it would be.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough year probably again, for the way it's ramping up.
What's the forecast for fire season?
It's a hard call right now. If it continues to stay dry, it could look for bad weather later. It could be rough. I'm pretty convinced that we're gonna smell smoke most of the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm very concerned about the M&R staff about this. They have their Geraldton headquarters right now. They've only got 5 crews instead of the normal 19.
Holy Moses.
Those are 4-man crews, and they're only assigning 1 crew to the North Shore, between Nipigon and Marathon. So
5 when they should have 19?
that's right.
How come so low?
They're having recruiting problems.
Do you think, eh?
Yeah.
Shoot.
So that could leave us on the hook dealing with fires for a much longer period than we're normally used to. And that's hard on us because we're not really equipped or staffed for that either. So
Did you have one new member join?
we've had one on that report, and happily I can report that we had 2 more people show up to inquire last week.
Okay,
So things are looking good on that side. We seem to be riding the tailcoats of the railway right now. Majority of them weren't there,
yeah.
but we'll take.
Nice. And you must have been happy to get that compliance report.
Yes, always.
Okay, number 13, fire chief report on the rescue truck repairs.
It's, as stated there, 300 over what we estimated the repair to be. There is one outstanding trip left for the truck to go to Thunder Bay to have 2 parts that were back ordered installed on it. So once that's done, I will give a final report on that one.
Fire chief report on donation and grants, March and April 2024.
The hazardous material trailer, do you use that on the highway as well?
We're allowed to use that on the highway or for our own local use.
Okay,
The railway's really good with letting us to
Yeah.
do that. It's gone out on highway calls only twice, I think. But they're happy to let us use it.
well, that's good. They're supporting fire department.
Yeah, they've been a consistent funding partner
Okay,
over the years.
that's good to hear.
Number 15, the no PP report, first quarter report.
Let's see, the year-to-date numbers are all down.
Yeah, I see that.
Mhm.
There's some negative numbers.
Negative 50%, negative
Yeah.
50%, yeah.
Be happy to know I finally got registered on police
Training?
board for training.
Congratulations.
When did you start that?
Hey,
When did you start that?
when I was fixing crazy, when I was fixing the toilet this morning, I seem to remember I sent an email a while back to Tammy. And so I wonder if that's my registration. So when I came in this afternoon, I went and seen Tammy, and sure enough, it was. The registration on my phone's gone some cyberspace ever since we went to 360.
Oh, my goodness.
It's gone. I've been having issues with that. But anyway, it's a long story short. I'm registered, so I got to start my
Trading.
training and that.
Most of it's online though, right?
I think it's 15 hours online.
I'm super, super grateful that you registered.
Thanks. But I will be delegating as well.
Oh, that's you, Jim.
Any questions on the report? If not, we'll move on to the communications.
Oh, great. I was
Go ahead,
looking
Dave.
for number 3, should we advertise this on our Facebook page? I'm assuming the library will probably advertise it too. But
Yeah, they've already have.
yeah,
Yeah,
Maybe we could pick it up and put it back on our page and community engagement.
yeah, just it started already. And that there is a walk at the high school.
Yeah. The Superior North EMS levy information, you already had that information, did you not, Marlene?
I do have a copy of that, yeah.
Awesome. Number 5, that's the one I'm looking at saying, I think she would be really smart to apply for that name.
Did she not do that last year?
Yes.
And there you go.
Rather than fixing the letter, I think she'd be smarter to go through the grant name
Yeah.
process.
She wasn't successful last year, but, so maybe that's why she, this week.
Yeah,
Last year she sent a letter, we requested a grant and aid application and it was turned down.
Yeah, so that's,
but knowing what we already know about
yeah.
grant needs, can we, someone at the office trying to get a hold of her?
Sure.
Number 4. Very nice letter, from Emma, and, I know I've been a big proponent of, so thank you guys for letting her do her thing in our building for the past year and a bit. It does mention the dunk tank funds that we all sat in that dunk tank last year, raised money, so told us we should use it for a youth program, so what do you guys want to do with that money? I'm not sure how much it was. It wasn't not an astronomical amount of money.
around 800.
Yeah,
Do you remember, Marlene?
756.
so I don't know if Evan had an idea of what's
around
what that towards, or could we just say, give that to Evan and say, use this for kids rec programming?
Can you do that, Rhonda?
Sure.
Just advise Evan that that's what it is, it's.
But I think Marlene needs.
Well, I was gonna say, so because there was the original intent of the funds were to go towards the renovations. The recommendation was that it get transferred for 2023 to the committee reserve. So if we want to, because we don't have a response from our application to Trillium, was it? For the renovations and stuff like that.
Right, yeah,
So if the intent is to use it in 2024 for youth programming, then I won't bring that recommendation to transfer it to reserve, but you just give the direction that you want to bring it forward in 2024. So it would, in essence, it would be included in your deferred revenue at the end of 23 to be brought forward into your regular operating revenue for the one in 24. So we can do that.
Yeah,
If that's what you guys want.
yeah, so can we do that and maybe talk to Evan again?
yeah, well, he was talking about doing like soccer, t-ball, all that like you looking at volunteers, I'm assuming you need equipment to do all those things, so that money would be good. to
Yeah.
use For that.
So one will take care of that.
I'm sure you can
Marlene
figure it out.
will take care of about orders. Yeah, because you guys were actually very good sports and sitting in that desk.
And we look forward to you doing it again this year.
Sure.
I think we should do some negotiating on that. Timelines,
Yeah.
heater and the water, and-
Oh my God.
Water temp.
yeah.
And a nice letter from the Figure Skating Club thanking us.
I was just gonna say that, I mean, we have 3 thank you letters in there. And it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, we've been under fire for. So it's really, really nice to get some thank you letters too, and it's encouraging for sure.
Yeah.
And make sure, the under fire hasn't stopped and won't stop.
Excuse me.
Appreciate it very much. I mean, like Dave said, Emma did a fantastic job and really continues to do a good job. And like I said in our letter that, really both plus part of it is she stayed in Schreiber.
Yeah.
She's staying in Schreiber and, I can speak to the figure skating. I talk to Jamie probably once a month, like when they're operating it, and, they're very happy, with it. They're very happy with, the staff and everything now, and, we had a rough start with them, but they've been great. Our staff have been great with them, and, they'd be great to be in there again, so.
Yeah.
We'll just go from them.
Been nice not having to sell candles and
Well, really.
mom's pantry.
Well, I mean.
Yeah.
Fundraisers.
No, exactly.
Rather just work at good
They're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Whatnot, and it's filling our need and.
Yeah.
And
And the resolution support for Wawa, I'm going to guess that Tammy would like for us to support the resolution for municipal accessibility fund. They're want to go after the AOGA for additional funding for municipalities. I'm going to guess you're going to agree that's needed.
I would support that. I will admit I didn't read that letter, but I would support more money anytime.
Right, for especially
There's
for
a lot of
AOGA.
fixing that needs to be done,
Yeah.
so.
What you guys think? I think we should support that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
okay. But yes. Let's
Communications.
move on to unfinished business.
There's not a chance I'm gonna go over or anything. I can do it.
2024 preliminary budget.
It's okay with council, Marlene and Tammy and I are gonna find a tag team on reporting on this, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I hope everybody was in agreement with the format of the report that we did this time around. I just wanted to point out some key points here on page 8 of the budget draft. Just the key points, there's a proposed tax increase to the municipal tax rate of 5.17%. The 2023 annualized revenue growth is an overall increase of 0.20%. There's an expected increase of 3.0% to the operating budget revenue over the 2023 budgeted amount. Operating expenses are expected to increase by 7.0% in 2024 when compared to the 2023 budgeted amount. On page 9, just to go over the assessment role a little bit, Marlene had already, first I must apologize to everybody. At the very top of the page, the collective bargaining agreement, I got carried away with my Excel sheet and I added an extra year, so at the final copy, that will be removed. So I do apologize for that. Now we'll go back to section 3.0, the tax levy analysis. So the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation assesses property values for the township of Schreiber. The general municipal values increased by 0.14% in 2024 when compared to the 2023 values. Tax rates are set by each municipality to determine the property tax revenues collected each year. The proposed municipal tax levy increase for the township again will be 5.17%. But I also would like council to be aware that municipal tax rates have not significantly increased since 2020. If we look at the previous levy increases with the consumer price index and the average annual inflation rate, we've been behind since before 2020 in keeping up, except for 2020, I should say, sorry, where there was a significant increase for whatever reason in that particular year.
We're not behind.
Yeah.
We've been under.
Under, okay, yes, sorry,
Right.
wrong word. On page 10, I just wanted to go over quickly, the 2024 municipal property tax revenue is estimated to be 2,398,000 or 489, which is an increase of 117,906 over 2023. The general municipal tax levy, the percentage change is again 5.17%, the same with the payment in lieu of taxes, with a total overall being 5.17%. Were there any questions on just the written portion of the report?
Nope. It's a great job.
Marlene, did you want to take over regarding the summary?
Sure. So as in the written report, the budget presented before council right now is a 5.17% levy increase. The operating budget was reviewed very multiple times on a line by line basis. It has been updated with the collective bargaining unit agreement, human resource costs. The largest change, I would say, comes with the capital sheet. And so we have on the capital budget as presented right now, the revenue totals are $2,243,618, with total expenses in the capital fund of $2,413,253. The tax drawdown required out of this is $169,635. As presented right now, the items that are being budgeted to come through taxation in 2024 are the asset management plan compliance in the amount of $55,000. The annual personal protective equipment, internal gear for the fire department at $19,690. SCBA upgrades and cylinders for the fire department at $12,445. The 2007 ALF fuel pump costs at $10,000. The repairs to the old fire hall building at $5,000. The dam intake screens at $12,000. Asbestos drive brushing and chipping at $25,000. The Tourist Information Center rear access walkway and ramp at $10,000. The community hall sign at $5,000.
Whoa, the TIC rear access walkway and ramp?
And ramp, yeah.
That's
So that was.
I have that from infrastructure.
No. No, that was what we were just talking
Oh,
about.
sorry, Marlene, sorry, okay.
No, but as presented right now.
Right.
There was 10,000 coming from taxation.
Right,
5,000 for the community hall sign. 12,000 for the community hall public washroom, automatic door opener, and $3,500 for the Discovery Center picnic tables. Now, earlier in the agenda, it was mentioned that the application is going forward for the rear access walkway and ramp, as well as the public washroom automatic door opener. So if you were to remove those until such time as you get approval for that grant, you could take that out of your taxation. If that is what you wanted to do, and that would drop you down almost a full percentage point, I think.
Right. But we also haven't added in, there's going to be a difference. We're probably looking at a difference for the arena road. And the original outlay to Northern Computers for our cybersecurity.
So we did have some money set aside in our operating for cybersecurity.
Did we?
Yeah. Yeah, there was,
Under which administration?
yeah, computer expense administration and admin.
No, that's still somewhere. Hang on. Administration. Under computer.
Yeah, we added 6,000 for that one.
Oh, yeah, there's 61,000, yeah.
So that increase from 2023 to 2024, you were hoping to cover up some of that cybersecurity stuff, Mark?
The budget amount?
Yeah.
Yeah, the, on the admin tab, that amount, that 61,000 for computer includes 6,000 for cybersecurity.
Okay, but cybersecurity is gonna cost you an operating. You're gonna start in June, you think?
Yeah.
7,560. An operating plus an additional 5,875 in equipment, which is probably capital.
Well, I don't know whether $5,000 in equipment, depending on what it is, whether it would be considered capital or not.
So you can throw that into operating as well?
Yeah.
So now you're down 58 and 7,500. $13,000, yeah, 13,500. But as you just mentioned, if you were to take the two AODA pieces off the capital list for now until we find out about that grant, you bought yourself room. Sorry, you just gained 1% and I just took half of it away on you. Because you could put that into operating and still leave the same levy increase.
If you're going to you want to increase the computer line, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
By how
And
much?
decrease the capital by those two projects so that
And keep your levy at 5.17.
it's my general thinking about that, because you've got other problems besides these two, but that's one issue.
So we want to increase the computer line from 61, we want to add the 22,000 on that?
You're gonna have to add 13,500. That's gonna be 6 months of your, what do you call that?
Your monthly fees.
Your monthly fees and 58.75 for the original outlay. And that's for the new firewall, which you absolutely positively need.
Okay, so we're increasing computer expense by 13,500, and they're suggesting
Which of those projects?
that we move the Discovery Center, the tick walkway and ramp, remove those projects from here. And the public washroom.
Doors, not entirely, but for now, because you're right, the 10 and the 12, that's a percent. That's 22, but I'm just making it add on 13.5, so I just took 0.5% away from you again.
Right, but you want to know if we remove those two projects. And we add the 13, right? You wanna know what
13.5,
your,
yeah.
so that comes down to 4.8.
Okay, but hang on to your hats because you got a bigger problem.
That can come out of reserves.
No,
Nope.
that was
Yeah.
It's
taxation.
operating. But there's a possible overage that needs to be discussed. Regarding in a current project. That could probably come out of reserve. So that wouldn't affect this,
Which one is?
what she's already got outlined.
Yeah, okay,
That's what I meant, can come out
Yeah.
of reserves.
Yeah,
yeah,
we were just talking about the computers, gonna have to go on operating, but that could come out of reserve.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's what I had meant.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
it's all good. It's all gonna work itself out.
Are there any other thoughts on the capital, list?
So are we taking that 0.5% off then? I'm confused.
It says 4.8.
Is that correct, Marlene? 4.8?
Those two. So with the removal of the walkway and ramp at the Tourist Information Center completely, you're not doing that project, the removal of that. And the removal of the, community hall public washroom, which was the $12,000, the walkway, and ramp up at the Discovery Center, that was 10,000. So removing those two projects from that list, drops your taxation drawdown required to 147,635 on your capital sheet. Adding the 13,500 to your computer expense on the admin line, brings the overall levy increase to 4.8.
Um,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and Dave's going more.
I just, yeah, the shingle on the medical center. Will they be okay?
No,
What?
I look at them every day.
I just,
But that's a project we're saying we're gonna complete.
Right, no, they're
He's
just talking
asking-
about the 4.8%. Can we drop something else?
oh, no, that's one we're completing, it's not
Yes.
highlighted. Oh,
No, it's being completed, but it's being paid for out of Marlene.
oh, sorry, okay, no, that was my bad.
Infrastructure.
I just thought, we were just talking about these highlighted ones, I thought those are the only things we're doing.
It's coming out of municipal
Sorry.
Taxation.
infrastructure.
Okay, sorry, my
It's
bad.
coming out of infrastructure.
Yeah, no
No,
problem.
it was a stupid one. We're
No,
good.
it's nothing
No,
over,
okay,
Steve.
never mind.
So
No, I have nothing else.
council is agreeable then?
Well, because I have one more question.
Okay.
Because I just said, giveth and taketh away. And nobody likes this, I know. But we just cleared a little bit of money. Could we not spend $5,000 on a dock? You'd say no, but I'm just gonna take one more kick
I
at the can.
thought we had money given to us from, vending machines.
You do, so that, those donations that have come in over the years from the vending machines have gone into the Recreation Committee Reserve Fund. So you
Yeah.
do have money at this point in time,
Yeah,
to
so
fund it through that.
is that not fair to give back?
fix the back steps of the library or do something else, that $5,000 personally, but
I'm just throwing it out there. You don't have to agree. I'm not saying you have to agree.
So,
I know you don't, so that's, but I just wanted to say, just, you know, just because I found you a little bit of money.
that project strikes me as a fundraising community project, not a, my tax dollars should go towards a project. That is my personal opinion.
No, you're right. You're right. And that's why Marlene's saying your tax dollars are not gonna go to it.
But they are, you're gonna add
Well, I get that,
$5,000 more, then it's back up to 5.17, so yes.
But she's saying that if you wanted to, we could actually do that project, not add it to taxation, take it out of the recreation fund that we just had a short conversation about. Never mind. Okay.
Whatever.
It's just a
But it's
thought.
not coming out of taxation.
Well, I looked at all the highlighted items that come out of taxation and they all make good sense. But I think it's
Yeah.
important that people understand, we're spending 169,600 of taxation to complete some capital projects. But we're also spending $2,413,000 to do other projects from other sources, whether it's being working capital grants or from our reserves. And I guess if I have one last thing to say, the pull from, I understand it, because I don't want to have 15% tax increase, but the pull from reserves worries me. We're
The
pulling,
boundaries,
the money that we're pulling out of reserve worries me. That's, it's a lot of money we're pulling out of reserves. And the one,
I feel like we have always been super hesitant to pull from reserve
Mhm.
for no apparent reason.
Other than the fact we've got an asset management plan that's killer.
Yeah, but it's unrealistic.
But you take a look, so the one thing I would talk about under the revenue side, we've got transfer from infrastructure to pay off the community revitalization project, the piece that's unfunded. At that 360,000, and I know we had a surplus from 22 that we just put in there. It's going to pay for that.
Mhm.
But I think, and I guess it goes to maybe having a further conversation about reserves, Rhonda. I think that's fine, but I think we've started to look at those kinds of amounts and find a way to pay them back.
Yeah, that's good.
Because we're essentially paying for that overage out of interest, which is fair, but I mean, I think that we've got to start looking at payback
Mhm.
to some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. We have been hesitant to pull from reserves. It worries me.
It's ultimately like, look at all the stuff happening at the wastewater, and we have a reserve for that, but it's still not big enough to help us on these big projects, really. Like, we still need help elsewhere for these kind of things. Why not use some of it?
So is that a conversation we need to have to further discuss our reserves and,
I think we need a conversation about reserves. It's not going to affect the 2024
yeah,
budget because we're pulling most of our projects out of reserve. But I think it's definitely a conversation we have to have.
yeah, we have too much in there or we don't have enough, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's a conversation we should have. I think.
Marlene, out of the capital budgets, I know you've showed us the amount that's coming out of taxation. Do you have a number on your Excel spreadsheet that would tell us the amount that's coming out of reserve? Because some's coming out of working capital, some's grant.
I have a total for 2024 use of capital is around 800, just under $824,000. With 400 plus $458,551 to be borrowed. For the wastewater treatment plant ESA building upgrades.
So 1.2.
Yeah, 450, just under 460 for borrowing and just over 820.
Coming from
Just
reserves.
under 824,000 coming from reserve.
It's a big number.
well, we're
Just whying it out.
paying it back through the wastewater through the OCIF. Right,
This is the portion that is not like that if your project is finished at the end of 2024, as it is supposed to be, it means that we will have $458,000 that we will have to borrow in order to pay it back. In future years, the annual OCIF allocation will fund the borrowing.
Mhm.
It will
Right.
fund your payback for that, but not for the entire term of your borrowing. Because they haven't committed enough in the future to be able to say that they're gonna have funding through that program.
Mhm. And yet, that ESA was a have to. That wasn't a, hey, we'd like to, that was a have to. And a lot of these projects that are on here really are a have to. Oh, yeah, like it's not stuff,
Except the dog.
you don't like the talk. You really hate the talk, you're just like,
I don't put it in, he's gonna sign it.
So what is the mill rate then if it's at 4 point?
At the 4.8, it's just over 5%, 0.05088.
The average house assessed in Schreiber is now paying.
So on $100,000 of residential assessment, it would be an increase over 2023 of $233 a year. 19, just under $20 a month. On 100,000. And
residential.
and your average single dwelling is just under 54,000.
It's the commercial side.
Yeah.
Because we raised water and so, and we have to raise water and sewer, and we're putting it into tax increase. And, our fee structures had to go up as well, and not just in one area and several, because it just makes, otherwise we'd have a tax increase that's much larger than what we're looking at right now.
In my report, what was it for commercial? It was, just under 97. Was the average commercial, it was 97,000 was the assessment, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the $233 a year.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, what's going on out there, I mean, I know everybody wants zero, but I mean, it affects us as a township operating. I'm glad we got it down from 5.17 to 4.8. I wish we could get it down a little lower, but I'm surprised we got it down to 4.8 and let it be a lesson to all of us. I'll take the lead on it. We didn't get too many complaints about 1.79, but that was a mistake.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
it was for now.
Don't say that. No,
It
I think
was.
it was a mistake.
I don't think
It
so.
was a mistake because we're paying for it this year.
Or not though. When you think about 4.8 plus 1.7 divided by 2, an average increase.
Nah.
It's really right at your consumer price index. It's not wrong. We've been trying to scale back projects and save money and put money in reserves. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with it, but I mean, I think 1.79 and always as much fault as that as anybody. But anyway, no,
I think we need to be more consistent on, you know, following the price of rate and
Yeah.
the price index. I mean, we see there is a table there, which we looked at earlier, and it indicates, you know, our past practice and we need to get better.
Yeah.
I agree.
well, I think four.
And there were a lot of issues that were going on when we made that
I
decision.
think
That died
4.8,
down.
like I say, I think 4.8 is more than fair in the environment we're in right now. And we still got lots going on.
Then we got a lot of
Everything and
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty decent.
yes,
She says beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So just to be clear, the direction is to bring forward the budget by 4.8% levy increase. That's what the minutes will reflect, is that? Everybody's on board?
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear.
Dave,
Thank you.
Ben,
You guys, you guys have done a lot of work going over line by line. I don't think we need to do that again. But I was just a little worried about these couple little things that I knew were coming up. So, no, I'm happy with 4.8.
okay, let's move on to the 2024 annual general meeting and conference. What do we want to request?
Wastewater, affluent.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So who is that?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you talk to then?
Philandra,
So,
I think so. Paul Landry. Yeah.
we did bring that up at Noma and.
Or I don't know, Suma, or to
Oh, her too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Minister of Infrastructure.
So we asked Philandra, and he said he would help. So. But yeah, she's infrastructure.
Yeah.
And what's it, 2024? I think another one I would like to we're putting away that Northern Ontario Resilience blah blah blah,
Yeah.
whatever. And so it's gonna, that was pre-COVID. And it's gonna, when it's done, I think it's about 380,000, 365,000, just in that area there.
and do you know when
I
the
wouldn't
date is?
mind, pardon me,
Do you know when the date is, when that's gonna be all,
I think it's
is it like 24 or 25?
26,
26, okay.
but
Talking about the sidewalk,
yeah,
the north side, I think it's scheduled, the RFP's scheduled to go early 25, right? Yeah,
25.
early 25, the RFP for construction to happen in this construction season of 25, right? Correct, yeah.
So I'd go after, if you guys think it's, to double, triple that. To try and like, not the north itself, but try and get triple the money. Cause I mean, 308, whatever it is, it's good money, but how far is it gonna bring you in sidewalks?
Not very far.
About 400 meters.
Pretty far. Not very far.
So is there a way maybe we could look at asking them to increase the federal gas tax, asking them to increase infrastructure funding? I know that there's been an announcement that he were supposed to be doubling it, but we haven't really seen much more on that. But we need, you're right, I think you need that 380 times 2 or 3, 40 or 50 here or there is not gonna help. I think you're right.
So you said 400 meters, Tammy?
Yeah.
What do we got for sidewalk in town now?
Oh.
Right, rough.
Oh, you have way more than 400 meters.
Yeah, so whatever, I guess I'm no good at 800, 1,200. I
No,
don't
you have, I think you have something like 3 kilometers. It was close to 3 kilometers if my memory serves me.
3,000 meters.
Yikes.
Yeah, right?
Plus, when you redo your sidewalks, it now has to be OADA compliant, so it needs to be wider than what we currently have.
On some of them, most of them probably.
All of them,
We might be able to do 10% of our sidewalks.
but that 400 meters was based on the new measurement. On the required measurement.
Right.
Yeah.
When the-
Yeah.
So you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. We need to get more money. I mean, not that you would turn this, your nose at this and say, forget it, we're not, I mean, if you.
No, I mean, you got 400, you got 370,000 dedicated to sidewalks. Let's try and triple, quadruple that program for, but what minister do we want to go after? Like, I mean, you're not going to. You just,
That infrastructure.
Did Nords come from infrastructure on that? Do you remember?
I think original, it wasn't from infrastructure, but I don't know, they really capped that, the infrastructure funding. And it's absolutely crazy, especially when they're asking people now to do that asset retirement obligation. But they're not offering any money to assist with that either. Makes no sense,
I
but
know. So you think infrastructure, I mean, I don't know who else we'd go after with it. Besides, is there anybody, what would be your suggestion?
it would be infrastructure as well. The only thing is, I don't know, can you speak to one minister regarding two issues? I don't think so. And you,
no, you gotta,
You know,
yeah,
pick and choose.
choose,
yeah, I think,
yeah,
you get up to 3 delegations, three or 4.
yeah.
Can't remember. But let's really think, okay, so let's really think about it, and the deadline to request is June 7th, so we got one more meeting.
Could be creative. If Terrace Bay has the same idea, we could do a joint delegation at a different time with the same minister.
Well, but
I'm pretty sure you could do that.
that goes back to, we'll go back to the money for the sewer plant.
Yeah.
Talking with Greenstone and talking with Horn Payne, Shreveport.
Mhm.
They're in the same boat as us with solution in a box down at sewer plants.
Yeah.
So Greenstone's got to do 2 of them, talking to Mark Wright. See if they want to do a delegation together with us.
Good idea.
That is a good idea.
Terrace Bay, I think we gotta support Terrace Bay in the mill, but I think it's,
Oh, for sure.
I think the bulk of that's gonna be protecting the fiber basket. Would you not say?
What do you mean by that?
That if for some reason this mill doesn't reopen, that fiber basket is not gonna be up for sale. The forestry licenses, like for it to stay with the mill.
Well, there is a forestry license there
Mhm.
now. Now, I don't know what shape it's in, like everybody that is part of that corporation that held the license, they're all bailing, so. There's been bailed and others, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure where it's at right now.
yeah. But that would, I guess, that would be a joint delegation, right, Lou, that we've gone with them?
Yeah,
Like, that corporation is dissolved, everything will go back to the ministry that.
I can, or Rhonda can talk with John,
Yeah,
see if we can get a joint one. They're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be a regional one, could be a regional one too.
Is there anything else you guys can think of?
Well, do you talk to housing about the issue we have with if someone were to build a new house, their taxes would be so high because of our situation and the impacts not doing their job or something like that? Can you talk to housing that way? No. No. It's impact on do a reassessment.
I mean, I'm sure they're hearing that all over.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not that they couldn't hear it from
Because
us.
they're telling us to build houses But in Schreiber, that's not a realistic thing. Because then someone's gonna pay
They said-
$20 taxes a year.
They said, how many, when we're up in Noma, how many communities out there, and there was, I forget how many of us were up there, 300. How many communities out there have reached out and is gonna be able to use the enabling waterworks, housing grants? I think I've seen 3 hands.
I know, it's stupid, it makes no sense.
But they could tweak that
There was-
program,
there
it
was-
would be useful.
Thunder Bay, Kenora,
Yeah,
Marathon.
Larger centers.
No, just a thought. I mean, impact will be there and approve it, but assuming we can ask.
Well, they always about.
No, but you're absolutely right. How do we as a community promote growth when it's so difficult that no one's gonna pull the trigger?
yeah,
But I think you're right. I think we go to the minister that answered your question.
Calandra,
mhm,
yeah, I mean, he promised that he would.
Okay.
He would help us, so. But according to impact, I mean, I asked that question to one of the impact. I think it was at the municipal league, like, somebody built a house today and they spent $400,000. How would that be assessed? And the answer was it would be assessed in comparison to a house that's the same size, which would be considerably less. And I thought, well,
true.
that's what they're saying.
Hmm,
Like, so if you built a 2,000 square foot house and you spent $500,000 building it, it would be compared to somebody else that built one 20 years ago with that size.
Then again, why would you do it?
What's that?
What, it's, you know, you may pay less, but why would you build something that's clearly worth?
Less than
Yeah.
$500,000. Yeah.
yeah, well, exactly. I never thought
That's
of
the
that.
challenge, but so how do we get support on that? Yeah, that's the question.
Right. Yeah, why would you build that if they're just gonna sell it at half the value?
You'd never be able to sell it for what you built.
No.
Yeah, that's.
So yeah, housing obviously sounds needs to be on the list.
Could be. Oh, that's all.
Very good.
And just think about it till, like I say, we got one more meeting,
Mhm.
scheduled meeting.
Yep.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the pickleball
Oh, yes.
request.
Yeah, so
So
there's
Benji,
a individual, asked to meet with me, about, creating a little more opportunity, for the pickleball community, I guess. Seems to be growing at a rapid pace and, we have provided them use of the facility here. With that, they have one court, I believe. But feel that there's opportunity to expand. There's a lot of interest. Some people from Gurney have been coming. Feels that it may be a little bit restrictive having the one court because the people that have been coming out for some time have gotten pretty good. And maybe the newcomer feels a little bit hesitant to show up. And so what he's looking for is a bigger space to get a couple more courts, whether it's 2 or 3. They looked at a few places, but the recommendation was that we look at offering the use of the arena. We did discuss a little bit at the recreation committee meeting. It wasn't on the minutes, so I just wanted to get that brought up here so we could open it up to some discussion, see if it's a possibility. Or if there's any, I know we talked about maybe some issues, or looking into the possibility of issues with covering over the floor. Didn't want to create any restrictions when it comes time to make ice through the floor, but I don't know if we've had time to look into that any further, Tammy.
I did look into the non-residue tape, which is essentially painter's tape, so it's not as sticky as your regular tape, so I'm not sure that that would stick to the floor. To go with anything stickier than painter's tape, it's going to require the boys on their hands and knees for a few days, to say the least, with goo gone and making sure that all of that is lifted up. There is a process to make your cement floor pristine before you start putting ice on it, trying to make ice on it. We looked into the possibility of paint. I spoke to other arenas in the area that have possibly used something like that. The only one that I found to talk to that put paint was Wawa, and they said that it bled through the ice when they did it, and if they used the oil, then it was chipping off. So you're not going to have your pristine floor anymore. I mean, our facility is a great ice facility. We make fantastic ice. So if we start messing with the floor, we may compromise that. I can't say for sure. The other issue that we are having, and it's the same issue we have talked time and time again, is storage. So for the summer months, they park the Olympia out on the ice surface. All of the grass cutting equipment, the lawnmowers, all of that stuff is parked in there. They have the trailer with the barbecue parked in there. So we'd have to find a solution for that storage if we were to use the.
How much of the arena surface do you need to make 2 courts, Ben?
Oh, well, I mean, half of it I don't know.
I don't know the measurements of the court.
I don't know, I saw an ad, Terrace Bay's doing it, what are they doing on their arena floor?
Terrace Bay's doing it?
Yeah, I saw the ad.
Espinal is doing it, I heard Red Rock's doing it.
So do we know what Terrace Bay's putting on their floor?
I believe tape.
There's
But
paint.
I don't know. I don't know. We would have to look into it.
There's the painters tape.
But if she needs half for storage, and I think the other question needs to be, how big is a pickleball court? Like, if we could just say we have 2 courts and half, then that would keep our storage issues. And if the painter's tape works, then we can put painter's tape down.
They're smaller than a tennis court, so.
Well, one fits in the gym. So,
Lots of room.
so you figure it out. And then
You-
two
so-
are gonna fit in half.
Oh, 2 will fit, I think easily.
See,
44 by 20. Thank you.
I don't want to see, I don't want to see, well, I don't, not that I don't want to see, but I would be concerned about paint bleeding through, but I think tape, if you use frog tape. I think it's
What was this stuff I looked up? It's called gaffer tape, and I don't know. I just searched a non-residue tape, and it says used by photographers for sports I don't know. I feel like we really need to try to accommodate this group.
Yeah, if it can be done, I agree. I mean, from the seniors as well. I mean, they're huge in the pickleball. And then the younger generations, it's fast growing. It's a fast growing sport. Even the 18 and above. So if we can get it done, I'm all for it. So,
Yeah, I'd like to see it happen.
yeah. I mean, pickleball tournaments and Schreiber. I mean, there's lots that can be done with pickleball.
I just know that those strategic planning events, what we talked about was sporting events and festivals, and like this is just it's done for you. You know that the interest is there. We have people coming from other unorganized communities coming here and if we don't, then they go somewhere else.
Yeah. That's an option.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for sure.
People go play pickleball, then they go for coffee at one of our local businesses and that's.
As long as, like, oh, Tammy, I'm guessing you want to store your stuff next to the big door, right, hon?
That's where they currently store it,
So
yeah,
that you would want the pickleball courts to be in the top half.
yeah, I would
Okay.
expect so.
I think that's an arrangement she can make.
I guess when can we move? Would be the next question.
Who's taping the courts?
Well, I can speak to but it didn't sound like that was gonna be an issue with the volunteers. I don't know for sure, but
Are they lifting the tape too?
I don't know.
I'm sure they would if you asked them.
I think they would, yeah. We will have 2 courts.
Yeah.
And then I need to know what color their lines need to be, because in the gym they have multiple colored lines.
Yeah, I'll I can find all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a try for sure.
Yeah.
I want to know why it's multiple. That's what I want.
It's huge. It's really taken off. I mean, the last couple of years, it's been crazy.
It's just an odd name.
Yeah. I got you, you're right.
Okay, resolution 130-24. Moved by Council McGrath, seconded by Council Morrow, that the closed meeting resume at this time. All those in favor?